Hi everyone, this is Anna from the Robin Wolf channel. Tonight I'm going to be reading the chapter 2 of The Mayan Factor, The Path Beyond Technology by Jose Arguelles. And yay, I'm very excited to read some more of this book. I've been loving the feedback that you are leaving on the comments. It makes me excited to share this book with you guys. So let's go ahead and do it. So, most happily, my personal route to the Mayan Factor blossomed through the interest that we were seated by art history studies, leading eventually to wondrous contemplations and mind-boggling insights of the galactic nature. Indeed, that the Maya are known about all owes to their having secured an anchor in our imagination through an art exhibit and archaeological textbooks, while National Geographic Society has most recently brought the Mayan to the popular attention through the full-page color glosses of their mysterious ruins and stonework in the Central America jungles. It should be borne in the mind that the modern knowledge of the Mayan dates back to scarcely more than 140 years. When the artistic archaeological team of John, Stephen, and Frederick Catherwood published their various exquisitely illustrating books documenting their travels through the Yucatan and the Central America in the 1840s, the result was nothing less than a sensational. It amounted the virtual discovery of the lost civilization with all the attendants, romance, and fantasy, such an image conjures up. 19th century writers, explorers like Charles Brasseur de Vergor, Lord Kingsborough, and Augustin Le Plongeon, while bringing to light some matters of archaeological interest, we also quick to relate to the Mayan, to the ancient Egypt and Atlantis. Other writers like James Churchward and Lewis Spence made the most of the Atlantean Lemurian aura, which they attributed to the Mayan ruins and hieroglyphic writings. Wow, very interesting. At the same time, by the end of the 19th century, more purely scientific archaeologists and thinkers like Alfred P. Maudslay, Ernest William Forstemann, and Herbert J. Spinder had seized upon the Mayan mathematical and astronomical system, which clearly, to the scientific mind, was the most fascinating aspect of the Maya. By 1927, what are commonly known as the Godman Martinez Hernandez Thompson correlation of the Mayan and the Christian chronological was completed. This meant that the beginning of the Mayan Great Cycle has been basically located between August 6 and August 13 of 3113 BC of the Christian calendar. In Mayan chronology, this date returns 13 million. No. 13 million, yes. This date will occur again in December 21 AD of 2012, which we already went through that, and because this book was written in 1987. Yes, so that Mayan ending cycle of 2012 already happened, and I'm sure it's gonna go more in detail here about it, but what the mainstream media publicized, the end of the world because the Mayan calendar ended on 2012, that was bull, that was fake news. Because that meant that it was the end of an era and a beginning of the new era or new time, that is the consciousness. But anyways, I'm sure I will say some stuff about that here. Anyways, what this means is that between the first 13 million I'm gonna have to check that date. and the second one 13 cycles of slightly less than 400 years each have elapsed. These large 394 plus year cycles are called Baktuns by the Maya. Since the coefficient 13 is the date 13 million or 13, I can't read that number for some reason, refers to the completion of the great cycle of 13 Baktuns. I am so sorry. The first Baktun of the new cycle is actually Baktun 0. The second cycle is Baktun 1, and so forth. Thus, the date corresponding to 2993 BC will be written as 0.000. What is called the classic Mayan civilization occurred largely in the 10th cycle Baktun 9, AD 435 through 830, and most of the deciphered dates look something like this when written in notation systems. 91310 AD 702. But of this, more will be said later. It was 1935, the Sylvanus Griswold Morley, perhaps the most sensitive of the scientific archaeologists, in his otherwise somewhat arid study, Guidebook to the Ruins of the Kiriwa, summed up what is still the most enlightened prevailed view of the Maya. When the material achievement of the ancient Maya in architecture, sculpture, ceramics, the lapidary art, featherwork, cotton weaving, and dyeing are added to their abstract intellectual achievements, inventions of positional mathematics with a concomitant development of zero, the construction of the elaborate chronological with fixed starting points, use of a time count as accurate as our own Gregorian calendar, knowledge of the point, use of time count and accurate as, all right. Oh my gosh. All right, let's start this over. Cotton weaving. Use a time count as accurate as our own Gregorian calendar. Knowledge of astronomy superior that the ancient Egypts and Babylons, and the whole judged in the light of their own cultural limitations, which were part of those in the early Neolithic age of the Old World. We may acclaim them, with fear of success, contradictions, the most brilliant aboriginal people on this planet. As high as the estimation may be, the conjecture remains that despite their brilliance, the Mayan were nonetheless Neolithic and aboriginal. What does the use of these terms actually imply? Neolithic, later Stone Age, and aboriginal from the beginning of time, before civilizations and measurements on the yardstick of progress. Their use of dooms the mind to view that whatever brilliance may have been achieved by those people, it is nonetheless hopelessly of the past, an anomaly, and hence of a little use in the present. Yet the question is often asked, if the Maya were aboriginal Neolithic, virtually without metallurgy of the use of the wheel, what were they doing in the mathematical system of such exquisite refinement? Why were they so intellectually bent? And when one considered the matter that the classic Maya flourished at the peak between 435 and 830, the time of the European Dark Ages, were not so distant, at least in time. By general standards, the Stone Age occurred elsewhere in the world 12,000 to 6,000 years ago. Something amiss. It is that the Maya, or the yardstick by which they are being measured, Since Morley wrote his quintessential archaeologist assessment in 1935, there have been a few spectacular finds in the Mayan archaeologies, such as the mural of Bonampak, discovered in 1946, the pyramid of Palenque, excavated in 1952. Overall, a gradual refinement of the Mayan archaeology has occurred, including of the rise of the new discipline of archaeoneostronomy. In additional, use of the computer has inroads in the decipherment of the hieroglyphs, but most of the part only in the identification of names of what are considered dynastic leaders, such as Pakal Voltan of Palenque. Yet, despite these advances in archaeology, the true story of the Maya remains closed book. At sites like Quirigua and Copan, the hieroglyphs incised in stone with astonishment, precise, and elegance tease the mind with the awesome quantity of baffling sense of order. Are they really so impenetrable? In our reflections, several other facts about the classic Maya present themselves, though there are deceptions what appear to be captive in the late classic stage. In all our sculptures, there are virtually no scenes of warfare, and when the Maya began building their astronomical ceremony centers in stone late in the 18th Baktun, which is AD 200 to 400. The system of hieroglyphs and mathematics is fully formed, perfect in every detail. There is little evidence of formative stages of trials and errors. It is a complete system of notations, mathematics, and astronomical calculations with accompanying highly developed hieroglyphic code. Add to this abrupt sensation of building a particular of recording dates around AD 830, and you have the Maya mystery complete. Let's sum up then. It is generally known about the Maya. Sometime over 2,000 years ago in Central America, the people called Maya began to leave clues or indications of their presence. In general area called by archaeologists Mesoamerica and Central and Mexico, the Maya has been preceded by a mysterious group called the Olmecs, whose along the Gulf of Mexico coastline date back at least 4,000 years, and by the Zapotecs in the highlands of Oaxaca. In southern Mexico, whose great center, Monte Alban, was found as early as 600 BC. Coincident with the rise of the Mayas in Central America was the flourishing of the Great Pyramid metropolis, Teotihuacan, in central Mexico, just northern of present-day Mexico City. Yet, through processing in common with the highlands' Mexican neighbors and agricultural base, with collective shares, cultural traits such as the 200-day sacred calendar and the ritual ball game, the Maya in their jungle domain remain artificially and intellectually distinct. Beginning around AD 300, all sites called Huaxactún in the heart of the jungle region known as Petén, thence responding to Tikal, Palenque, Copan, and Quirigua by AD 500. The great push of the Mayan civilization was on. For the next 300 years or so, the duration of the Baktun 9, the Maya built their harmoniously proportionated step pyramid temples and left behind great numbers of large stones marked, called stele, on which were recorded dates and other related information, even 5, 10, or 20 years. Then will be transitioned from Baktun 9 to Baktun 10, AD 830. Came the abrupt decline of disappearance of the classic Maya. Hold on, you guys, my computer. just turn off on me. Okay, there you go. At the end of the 10th century, when the curtain goes up again on the Maya, or rather of the descendants of the Maya, it's altogether different scenes. Northernland Yucatan is the home base. A mingling has occurred between the Maya and their Mexican neighbor, the Toltecs. The religious dispensation of Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, is the cultural binding factor. Through great architectural achievements occur, such as we find in Uxmal and Chichen Itza, no longer are the great monuments carved in stones reading endless dates and astronomical data, rather a shorthand version of the chronological system that has been developed, as much as the writing is done in hieroglyphs, manuscript called codices, in which only 3 survive. Warfare of human sacrifice on the rise and unprecedented political alliance, the League of the Mayapan has replaced the virtually autonomous apolitical era of the classic Maya. With the fall of the Mayapan through the internal warfare in AD 1441, the later Maya phase comes to an end. When the Spaniards finally arrived in fully force in Yucatan in 1527, as predicted by the 20th century Mayan prophet Ahzupan, the Mayan descendants are in a condition of disunity. By 1697, the intolerant cruelties of the new Christian order, along with the smallpox and other disease, have all pulled to an end of the Mayan as a cultural or political entity. Despite the terrible hazardness of fortune, the Maya has precisely culturally, at least, to remain distinct to the present time. And here and there, wizards keep of the most ancient traditions have managed to keep alive the knowledge, the code, the lines of truth that leads directly to the stars. When we look in the history and review what was left behind the Maya, one fact becomes very clear. Not only did the Spanish had no idea that a separation in time had occurred between the classic 9 Pactun Maya and the later Maya of the League of the Mayapan, but the text and manuscript of the later Maya themselves, like the Popol Vuh and the Book of the Chilam Balan, the Annals of Chaquiquels, give us virtually no information about the predecessors, the classic Maya. Not only did the Christian garble misinterpret what was told by the Maya, but the later Maya themselves seem to have intentionally confused their text. Why? Here's a picture of let me see, it's been 18 minutes. I'm gonna read a few more pages. When Stephen and oops. Let's see. Was all comfy. Okay. When Stephen and Catherwood stumbled in 150 years ago upon the jungle centers of the classic Maya, they had indeed stumbled upon the lost civilization, but one only to our mind. When everything is said and done, all the archaeologist has described of the classic Maya are the visible contours of the scientifically materialistic mind. What actually lies in the jungles of lowlands of Petén is very different than what is described by archaeologists. Like a stellar constellation imprinted upon the Central American jungles, the pattern connecting the various classic era centers speak through the labyrinth of time. Pyramid temples and plazas stood with large stone monuments, intricately incised and elaborate hieroglyphs as astronomical data, representing a precise scientific recording-keeping operation as any known to humankind. Wow. Indeed, taken as a whole, the Pactun 9 classic Maya centers appear as a veritable cosmic calling card. Oh, you are on Earth. The monuments seem to sing to us. Those who built us have been here, appearing as humans, like you, oh, earthlings. Can you not see? Can you not understand what is that we have left for you? Could you be open your eyes without attachments? You could see and know the gifts that await you. Clearly more important, the classic Maya than territorially and marking war was the need of track of the cycles of the planet Earth by means of a unique mathematical system. The purpose of this elaborate record keeping seems to have been to the correlation of terrestrial and other planetary cycles within our solar system with the harmonic matrix of the master program. The matrix encompassing the cyclical harmonics of the planets with our solar system was galactic, as represented in a larger, more encompassing view that could be obtained from within our solar system. Unique by any known standards, this perspective implies that the classic Maya were proposed with a distinct mission. Anyone with a mission also has a message, a fact which seems quite obvious, but all too often escape the mind of materialistic archaeologists. The classic Maya was civilization unparalleled, and its accomplishment and unique in self-termination of its achievements, its owning complete to the mission which was its duty to fulfill. This mission, it seems, was to place the Earth and its solar system in synchronization with a larger galactic community. That is the meaning of the dates and their accompanying hieroglyphs. Once the purpose had been achieved, for this is the cause and meaning of the immense activity of Baktun 9, the Maya departed, but not all of them. Some remain behind, caretakers, overseers, speaking the language of the Suvaya, the cryptic code language of the significances of the different cycles of time. The key and the code left behind the classic, or shall we say the galactic, Maya described their purpose as their science is embodied in the deceptively simple systems of the 13 numbers and 20 symbols called the soul skin. In fact, the soul skin is the harmonic matrix, lies all we need to know about the Mayan factor. And when I do the Mayan life path readings that I'm offering, I actually use the soul skin calendar. So I just wanted to say that. But how was all this done? How did the Maya get here? What is the meaning of the galactic synchronization, and what bearing does all of this have on us now? Here I want to show you that Tzolk'in as a harmonic module. In answer to these questions, this much we must say. What distinguishes the Mayan science from present-day science is that the system operating within a galactic frame. A science operating with a genuinely galactic frame of reference cannot be separated from what we call myth, art, or religion. For a comprehensive worldview, the Maya galactic frame of reference synthesizes rather than separates. In this regard, not only do the Maya challenge our science, but they play with our myths. And, as we shall see, they reinvest our history with meaning and scopes that places our destiny within the unseen purposes of the starry firmament, but in a way undreamed of by the tinker toy builders of our modern space program. Having considered the Maya from the perspective of archaeologically and materialistic modern science, let us now consider them from the comprehensive galactic view provided by the Mayan factor. The Maya term Hunab-Ku and Suksan-Sum are essential in providing us a galactic view which synthesizes science and myth. Hunab-Ku is usually translated as one giver of movement and measure. It is the principle of life beyond the sun. In this regard, Hunabku is the name of the galactic core, not just as a name, but as a description of a purpose and activity as well. Movement corresponds to energy, the principle of life, all prevailing consciousness, immanent in all phenomena. Measures refer to the principle of rhythm, periodically and from accounting from the different limiting qualities which energy assumes through its different transformation. Xuxansum, literally the road of the sky, leading to the umbilical cord of the universe, defines the invisible galactic life, threads of fibers which connects both the individual and the planet through the sun, the galactic core, Hunabku. These threads or fibers are the same as the luminous threads extending from the solar plexus, described by the seer Don Juan in Carlos Castañera's series of Jackie Wisdom books. According to the extant Mayan texts, the Popol Vuh and the Annals of Chakchiquels, the Yaqui were the first of the Mayan tribes to separate from the rest of the clans following entry in this world. The purpose of the Yaqui in so doing was to keep at least some of the original teachings of the Mayan relatively pure and in a remote place. In any case, the fibers of Xuxansum defines a resonant pathway like a walkie-talkie, providing a continuing channeling of communication of a cosmic lifeline. Through Xuxansum, each of us has a connection that extends from the solar plexus through the reflective membrane of the planet, field on the sun, and ultimate to the galactic core. Could this lifeline have something to do with the origination of the Mayan on this planet? And if so, how? Here, I want to show you guys. This is the Hunabku. That's the symbol I have in my YouTube. That's my logo, I guess that's what you call. It's the Hunabku, and around is the 13 moon cycles. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here. That's very interesting. Yeah, I guess I can show you guys this too. I don't know if you can see. Anyways, I think this book is getting better and better. There's some parts that make me smile when I'm reading. I think you guys can tell because it makes me excited and it makes my blood like, ooh, I don't know, it's weird. But anyways, you guys, I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the chapter 2 first part, and we'll pick it up some more tomorrow. So I love you guys in Lakesh, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.